It's the Tonya Burns Show. Tune in right now. Like and share. Our city needs that vibe. Flint City News got truth to share. When we fight the darkness, we repair. Won't give up. We're standing tall and proud. Voices rising strong, no longer shrouded. Residents deserve what's right and fair. Together we can lift the despair. We fight, we win, we break the chains. Tonya Burns won't stand out in the rain. Our city dreams will make them true. With every step it all renews. In a step it all renews.
Hey, everybody. Listen, I missed y'all. So listen, wherever you are, drop in where you're from. And then I need to share some things out. So listen, Happy New Year. I know I have not been doing the shows like I normally were because look, your girl been tired. I've been tired, y'all. And it's been a lot going on, a lot. But I am glad to be. I'm actually, look, Jared, look, I even got my nails done. That's tomorrow. That tell y'all. So how busy I have been. Look, I need to do this. I need to click the link and share. So listen, yes, my head is down. Click the link. You know, we make it work. Y'all know we get paid poverty wages at city council. I got to do everything myself. Click the link to watch live. Look, and share. Okay. Listen. So listen, I'm gonna go, and I need to share this out. Look, if y'all can click like, share. Sherry, I was praying for you in a special to Sherry Allen, said a prayer for you, and I didn't cheat. I did it on my knees too. So I prayed for you and took it to the Lord. And I hope you're feeling better. I truly hope. So I'm gonna go all the way back up to the top. I have not been on. Have not been on like I normally do. So hey, Denise Cousins. Hey, Meat Freaks Barbecue. And I got to scan it down. And so, Jonathan, if you can throw their names up across the marquee, I would appreciate it. So that way we can see it. Meat Freaks Barbecue. What's going on? JP6. There. Look, there's Teresa. Hey, Teresa, how you doing? Martha Thomas, how are you? And family question, are you running for council again? Y'all know, it be some people calling me that I don't know how they got my number. I really, really don't know how they got my number. I mean, I need to know how you run. And I feel like to some of these people, look, when I run, y'all gonna know second if whatever I'm running for after my kids. After my children will absolutely, whatever I do. I take running for an elected office very serious. But let me finish greeting everybody. Dr. Padroni, Avis Hawkins. Dr. Padroni, I need you to call me. I sent you a text to call me. Tina Smith, Jared Breckenridge. I ain't going where for. Hey, from Philly. Chris Caleb. Chris, you be sending me all of them inboxes. Now, you know I ain't got time to read all of them. No, I don't. B. Marie, RHO 312, the VIP. Okay, my thing is freezing up. I'm gonna have to read Johnson. Read, keep sending me the wonderful prayers because I need those. JP6, she is running for mayor. Avis Hopkins, Andre Holland, hey, Tania Walker, hey. And if I missed anybody, look, I promise you, charge it to my mind and not my heart. Please charge it to my mind and not my heart. So I do want to tell everybody why I have not been coming on, because when I do a show, I do a lot of research so that I want people to feel like, hey, we can go out, take the information because she showed it to us, and we can go out and be educated. I always do an educational component because we'll get a lot of things that people say, where did this come from? So I try to do a charter. I go to the depths to where I break it down to where I can understand it. No, Monica Galloway is not still on city council. Tyler Reed, she's not. She is living her whole blessed life. Tania Walker, hey girl. Sweetheart Shell, hey. So she is not. She's a very religious. I want to say she evangelist or an apostle. So she's really living her best religious life, and that's her. She's an anointed woman. Hey, Kevin Lofton, you always forget me. I am your biggest fan. I didn't forget you. I just said it. And I don't see what's in the chart. Hey, Sheena Beckton. So let me give a shout out to my producer, Jonathan with Eaton. You have to throw it up, Jonathan. Please be kind and donate to Cash App, JEatonMedia. Jonathan Eaton is my I call him my video guy. So wherever I go, he go, so that I can share everything with every one of you from wherever you are, whatever state that you are in. He is there for me, moving things so that we can make sure that you see things in real life. Often the media does not cover our things. I have a great relationship with the media. Have always had one, even before when I was not even running, because I believe in freedom of the press. Something that's a dying trade. So please kindly donate to Cash App, JEatonMedia, because we're going to be bringing shows. I got a special show coming up on Tuesday with Mayor Karen Dr. Weaver. She will be, you can leave it up when I'm talking. She will be on Tuesday, I believe at 7. I have a Saturday. I'll be back to my Saturday at 10 a.m. Back to 10 a.m. And also tune in to the SNL show with Sheena and Landon. They are like 10 to 9:30 or 10 to 12:30 on the Urban News Station. They are on there. And you can catch them on the Urban News Station. That is a station that was a podcast network that was created by Dr. Karen Weaver. So I do want to send a shout out for that. And I'm even gonna look, I'm gonna be nice because it's the new year. I'm gonna send a shout out to Mickey and Winters. And Winters, I'm not gonna be on here all night. Now you know somebody called and said that and laughed. I promise you I'm not gonna be on here all night. Because we're going to be back on our Saturdays, and Mickey knows the Saturday mornings. That has always been my time slot. So, Gutter Black, what's up? Berta Bickham, what up? And to Sheena Beckton, I don't see Patrick Jean in here. Thank y'all. Those are my moderators. So we're going to go over a lot of stuff because your girl was still busy, still reading, doing her thing. I did not make it to yesterday's council meeting. I did not feel well. I was feeling queasy and did not feel well. Of course, I let, Councilwoman Winfrey Carter, which hey, Lydia McNeely, which is my god sister I love so much. I let her know what she put out her statement, and I'm gonna, read that, and we're gonna do a show with her. Now the part with the show with me and her, we're gonna do several shows, me and her. We laugh a lot. And so I appreciate the love she has, and she's made the decision to take time for herself. She's done her civic duty. She's grew up in politics with her father, Charles Winfrey, who was still a current sitting Genesee County Commissioner. And so she wants some time to herself to, spread her wings. Go on, girl, spread your wings. And so, I'm going to miss her in politics, but she's going to still be there. Love you, JWC. So, hey, Diane. So to my color of law, spectacular ladies and one gentleman, I want to say thank you to these ladies who take the time out. Diane, Debbie Thornton, Tonya Jones, Stanley Wood, Taylor Sampson, Beverly Biggs, Levy. Y'all, if I'm missing somebody, drop it in the chat because it's not, I didn't miss no purpose. But the color of law doing some spectacular things, working with this group, a group of people who really care about the people. So it's not only just feeding the homeless, getting them coats, resources, getting them into shelters, pulling our resources together. And those ladies rock. I'm just telling you. You can't come to me and say nothing about them color of law people because you're not gonna get no conversation because they doing the work. So I want to say that I appreciate them. We have a good working relationship. One thing I have always said is going to take the community to save the community. And that's what it's about. So, all right. So I did not finish sharing out what I needed to share. Hey, Christine Chandler. And if I miss anybody, y'all look, and I don't want people to think I'm missing. I don't really watch the chat because it is stuck now. It's stuck. So unless he puts go ahead and love on that thumbs up button, the notification bell, subscribe. Thank you, Sheena B, Sheena Beckton. So I need to share this out because we are a 2-person show. So let's call it what it is. We are a 2-person show. And so I just need a moment to do that. And we're going to talk about a lot of things. It's been so much going on. So much. Month of November and early first week in January, I had 5 close people and some family who passed away. And so I needed time just to, hey, Tina Smith, just to pull back. Hey, Clack, how you doing, Clack? Clack is running for state rep. He spoke very eloquently at the city council meeting. He talked about topics that's happening in our community and what to be aware of. He spoke on the things that people care, the $1,000 or less checks. And we're going to talk about that. People's out there thinking they're going to get some money. Who been speaking up for you that you got that $1,000 check? Okay. Clack nailed it. He is on top of what the people want to hear, what they want to hear. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This thing is not working at the bottom at all. So our first part, because y'all know your girl it'd be serious for me. So we're going to start with number 1. I want to say thank you to Dr. Abdul El Sayed. I appreciate 1007 guy. How you doing? Get ready. I'm done. I can't read the rest of that one guy. 1007 guy. Listen, I want to thank you to Dr. Abdul El Sayed. We had a fabulous event. The event turned out much bigger. One thing about that event, we know that people want change. We know that people want change. And people showed up and they were listening. And I believe that if anybody's running for office, you need to build relationships that start out at the local. You go to the county, you do it at the state, you do it at the federal level, because we need to make sure the money comes down to us. The last place to where it should reach City of Flint residents is City Council, to where they're voting to give it out. And so, hey, Martha Thomas. And so I believe in that. So I've met with several people who are running for different offices. I'm going to meet with some more, and I'm bringing them here. And I'm also give forum so people can see, because I listen to your opinion, because what you see and I see are 2 different things. And we need to start vetting the people who want to run for office. And here's the thing. You got to believe who they showing you. What Dr. Maya Angelou, she always said, believe when they show you who they are the first time. Believe them. Believe them. And so with that part, I'm taking the time to meet people, talk to people. And I'm going to tell you, Flint is front of the line. You can't meet with me and not talk about Flint. And I'm talking about Flint issues. I'm talking about the water crisis. I'm talking about the leftover, the interest on the money. I'm talking about how Flint was never done right. I'm talking about economic development, how it needs to be driven here. I'm talking about our public schools, that our city needs to be working with our public schools so we are saving our children. I'm talking about the gun violence. I'm talking about real issues that affect people. That in 2024, we had 10 children shot in the city of Flint, and Mayor Neely didn't utter a murmuring word. He said nothing. 10 children were shot. His city had to be the largest city, I believe it is, with gun violence against children. I believe 6 of those children were fatal. August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, we had 22 people shot. Some were fatal. Of 2025 in a 3-day span. Y'all saw the one when the officer said 17 people when they sprayed the barbecue out there. 17 people got dropped. Well, they didn't talk about the other 5. And so we talk about where's our comprehensive public safety plan? Who's saving us? Our soundscape here in the city of Flint is gunshot and gun violence, and we have become numb to it. And that's not the way to live. You go simply to Flint Township, you go to Fenton, you go to Flushing, you go to Burton. It's different. Why is economic development not coming here and Burton getting it? Because people don't want to do business here. They just don't. So we're going to talk about that. So I want to put up, I said, thank you to Dr. Abdul El Said, who is running for United States Senate. Senator Gary Peters is not running again. Dr. Abdul did not do index cards. If I'm doing a form, you can't do index cards. There will be no pre-selection. You will not be reading off of a card. You need to talk to the people. If you're running and you're serious, you should know what the people want. That's how I feel. That's where I stand. So let's put up, let's go to my page, because I was excited to have him there. The JEatonMedia, y'all don't forget, to thank you. So Dr. Abdul El Said, we had it at the Ferris wheel, and he was there. So that's him and I. I never got a chance to change. It was busy. People were there 2 hours early, and it was packed from front to back. This is the front of the building, and it was packed from front to back, all the way down. It was packed. And we didn't have enough seats, and the event had almost 200 people registered. It is a clear thing that you can't even see them from. That's in the back, y'all. Y'all see that? You can't even see the front from that view. And that's at the front door. Literally, that's at the front door. And so I hosted the event with the Color of Law, because you have to work with other people who are like-minded. I hosted it, Councilperson Tonya Burns hosted it, and with the Color of Law. And I want to say a special thanks to Stephanie Rogers, who was there. She is one of my best friends. She handled the food and did it. Sometimes you got some friends where you can just say, okay, I need this done, and she liked that with me. You got those friends when you don't have to talk, and when something is going on. That's the friend that we are. Been friends since high school. And as you see, that place, it was packed. There was front to back. And it was a very diverse group. It was several college students. And I know we probably had some ops in there, but look, we told them, come on in. I had some people that didn't even like me in there, but it was okay. I had some people who wanted to recall me in there, but there was look, you come in. I'm not here for that. That's not my journey for Flint, not at all. And so that is, y'all see the room was packed. It is clear that people in Genesee County and Flint want change. Mayor Neely had an event. I think they said about 30 people were there at his. When he had his, was it September or October, because he hosted him also. But here it is, people want change, and people showed up. It was diverse. He spoke, he talked about Medicare, And what we have to do is, open our minds, our ears, and our heart to change. We have billionaires who are using other people. I mean, they're already rich. How rich can they be? And they have people out here doing their little work for them. Not about that. Money comes to Flint, has come millions have came to Flint, and it never reaches the people that need it, which are the residents. So I want to say thank you to Dr. Abdul El Said and wishing the very best in his bid for U.S. Senate. But y'all, Flint, y'all the MVP. Flint showed out. Flint and Genesee County showed out. That was Donovan. I love Donovan's energy. Donovan's going to be a psychiatrist. I think a child psychologist. Psychologist. Look, he needs to be friends with Mayor. I'm going to hook him up with Mayor Ruth so he can meet her. But he spoke so well. And I love when we had black, white, young, old, you had people who were independent. There were some Republicans. You had some Democrats. And in that room, what you felt were interested voters who knew what was going on, voters who wanted to listen. And that was what that purpose of that meeting was for, to provide a place for people to listen, to ask the questions, not on the 3x5 index card, because, and I'm going to tell you, Mayor Neely does a lot of 3x5 index cards. I don't like that. And even when I've been to his meeting, we broke up into, it was they wanted to hear from the ARPA committee. He had people write on index cards. I'm like, this is crazy. You're the mayor. You should be able to take someone shooting a question at you. And he couldn't even take questions. He only does index cards. And that's a problem. So it was great. That crowd, Flint and Genesee County, y'all the real MVP. So let's go on to, and I want to say thank you, Jonathan, for, Jonathan did the video. So we rolling. So listen, we're going to talk about, because I did not feel well last night's meeting. Kevin Lofton said, do you think that anything will ever change? I do. When we start voting people that stop voting for the popular person, vote for the people that you see what they're doing. Stop voting for your cousin, auntie, brother, sister, aunt who groomed your dog, because you know them through 9 degrees of separation. If they're not showing you what they've done, don't vote for them. Stop voting. And people say, here's the misnomer. Oh, you have to have the money. Let me tell you how many. You got to have the people. I didn't see Walling had all the money. Mayor, he had almost $500,000 in his war chest. Oh, his war chest. He didn't have the people. Dennis Pfeiffer, Don Pfeiffer, when he ran, Don is very well to do. You got to have the people. The community did not rally around him. And I think it's because we're a Democratic city, not think we are in Genesee County, and he was Republican. And when we look at Jim Sharp, he won. And so you have to have the people and name recognition. Name recognition knows the difference. But I'm going to tell you, people ain't happy about them $1,000 checks. Neely kept saying, it's not the bottom or not the floor. It's the what y'all got. And everybody didn't get them $1,000 checks. That's the thing. I'm just telling y'all. Sheena, and actually, folks, stop selling your community out for ego and clout. Thank you, Sheena. So we're going to talk about that meeting yesterday. So I did watch it. And there was a couple things. So in that thing, in that meeting, we're going to talk about the special order. So in the special order, it was about the water testing. And I was saying to myself, I was literally talking to myself out loud, and it was just me here. And I'm like, they got to know what's going on. How do they not? Candace, you work for a whole water lab. How do you not? You can Google what the test for. And there's no reason why we should know, but we're going to watch this video where it just seemed really weird to me, because we know that Mr. Roy Fields on Broadnail, and there's other issues in the water, came in with those jet black filters that were full of mold. And I'm going to show you pictures of his toilet, his filters, his faucet, because we know. And he actually said he gave filters to Candace to test. So they need to stop playing in our face with stuff. This is serious. Oh, we don't know. It was just weird to me. So can we start and play the video, please? And thank you. And y'all look, click, like, share, and hit that like button for me. Hit that like button. Jonathan, I can't hear it. Y'all, hold on. We may be having a little technical problem. You didn't get the 2 hour and 18 minute. Yes. 2 hour 18. So y'all just hold on. She said, y'all, I can't read these comments. Okay, JP6. I can't read that one. When is the council leadership going to be settled? Well, let me say this, Jeremy. We are all like lame ducks because everything's up to run next year. Everyone's going to be nice. So will it make a difference changing? I don't know.
Health to see if maybe they have some suggestions that we need to add in the survey as well. Then we can also share it with Mr. Dungy to see if maybe there are some questions he would need answered in that survey as well.
They certainly could support that effort. Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Is there anyone else who would like the floor? Councilwoman Priestley.
I do like the idea of having to choose which metals we want to test for. We have to do that. And I think the metals that we need to choose are those that are most detrimental to life. The lead is one, because that's obvious for this state, for this city. But I don't know what the others might be. But it's something that we've got to consider as the most detrimental to the residents of the city and concentrate our money there. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like the floor?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Edwards, so in reaching out to the different companies, how many companies did you say?
3.
3?
Yes.
Did they provide you with a list of things that they do offer and test for?
No.
No? Okay.
I say no because that wasn't the nature of the question. The nature of the inquiry to them was, we need to have services to these
Right.
homes, and we need to test water and so forth, and provide the feedback, to council and to residents. What does that look like and what does it cost? Their next question was, what metals are we, or
Right.
what chemicals are we testing for? What are we looking for?
Okay.
Yep.
So with that, the 3 labs that are around here that he likely spoke to, because I don't know who he spoke to, but I know the labs that he likely spoke to, they can test for any and everything you want tested for, but it becomes a matter of you telling them what specifically you're looking for. And then from there, again, we all have to consider, because we've already said 100 homes. So you have that first metal that costs one thing, and then each metal costs less than the initial, but it's still going to be a cost per metal, and you have to multiply that by 100. Then you're going to have that bacteria. That's going to be its own price that you're going to have to multiply by 100. So when we start listing this out, and I'm not putting a price on life, I'm telling y'all that it's going to cost you.
Very well said, Ms. Ashley.
Is there anyone else who would like the floor?
We're out of time.
We're out of time. Are we done? Are we going to close it out?
Yeah.
We're good.
And Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to postpone this to the second meeting of February.
Is that going to give him and us enough time? Okay,
That gives us a month.
the second committee meeting in February?
Yes.
There's a motion on the floor to postpone this discussion item until the
Let me check the
second
date.
committee meeting
Let me
in
give you-
February.
Let me give you the exact date.
Okay.
That would be 18th.
Until February 18th. It was moved by the councilwoman in the 4th ward, supported by the councilman in the 1st ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin? Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns is not in. Mr. Schapp?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
Vote is 6 yes, 0 no. This discussion item, thank you very much, City Administrator, has been postponed until February 18th. Moving on to our second special order discussion item, discussion item 260030, which is a discussion item for Consumers Energy Drive Up
Let's stop
Payment
right there.
Center. It was requested by Dr. Lewis, who is.
So I want to talk about the water first, and then we're going to get back to the consumers energy because that's at the end. So Jonathan, pinpoint that, the timestamp, because we're going to do that at the very end because we cannot run consumers energy's day-to-day operation. We got enough stuff to do in Flint, like what y'all should test for. I was confused. So, and you learn a lot of things. So, one of the things I want to go over, and I need to look at my run of show, Jonathan, that I sent you. I had another conversation, Mr. Roy Fields. He did state he gave Candace his black filters. Candace works at a water lab. She knows what to test for. TTHM, PFAS, lead, bacteria, Legionella. Are there any chlorine residuals in the water? Well, all the mold is probably not. That's in there because nothing killing it. And so to not hear her say, you know, I'm not putting the money, but each of those you got to test, you did put money on it. I expected her to, who works at a water lab, who understands, and I felt like it was a kind of me and Clyde going back and forth, her and Clyde kind of like a rehearse. I got this. He goes, well, you just said what I was about to say. No, what she should have said at that point, we got some problems. I did not know he took until this evening. He gave her the filters. She knows what to test for. They're jet black. And so let me pull up my runner show. So in with, which was amazing. Let's put up the pictures because these are the issues that on Brownell Street. And the thing is, we should have a number where residents can call in so we will know who are having these issues, because often we talk, they're like clusters, and where the clusters are having, if it's all over the city, then we need to test where the clusters are happening all over the city. I'm not in the 7th ward. I'm not in the 8th. I take calls in the 9th and the 5th or the 4th, but I take calls all over. Mr. Roy Fields sent me this. He called me today. And if you watching, Mr. Fields, good evening to you and your wife. And so this is what's coming out of his faucet. That's nasty. It's black gook. It looks like mold and maybe bacteria. And so this is what's flowing through his faucet. Now, mind you this, and put a pin in this. Flint, it was set up so that people could get indoor fixtures. I think, was it 35 million? And I may be wrong, maybe 25 to 35. And I will find, I have to talk to the person tomorrow. And we had said during the council meeting, what happened to the money? Clyde said we didn't have anybody who knew how to fill the paperwork out to fill it out. And it went back. So Flint lost it for indoor plumbing. So items like this faucet with black gook, which is also inside of his filters, his water filter. I mean, this is what it is. So these are his filters, jet black. He had brought them to the city council meeting to show, and he gave it to Channel 12. I don't know if Channel 12 ever ran the story or not, but those are his filters. When he changes them, that's what the filters look like. So we need to have a number where people can say, hey, my water is a different color. And everyone doesn't have a filter. Everyone doesn't. So these are filters from the water in his house. They're jet black. They're jet black. His faucet was jet black. So if he was supposed to use to cook, to shower, to bathe, and do water your plants, run it in your washing machine, run it through your ice machine, through your refrigerator, run it through your humidifier, which would go from your hot water heater to your furnace to keep moisture in your house, then this is what you would be breathing in and drinking and absorbing through the pores of your body. They do not give you the entire, what's going on. It may be clusters of it. And so we need to find out where is this coming from, and to ask what to test for. Everything. So in his toilet is this black sediment. I've talked about this black sediment because in my toilet, you can wash your toilet every day and you'll get this in your toilet, which he does. I get that in my toilet. And I've talked about it. You can scrub, but that's coming out in the water. It's coming out. And so this is from Mr. Fields' home. You just saw his faucet. This is his toilet. And you saw his filters. So it has to be revisited. Flint needs a number where because there are people, I'm going to tell you, in other wards that say they don't have any problem. And I've talked with them. None of this is happening in their ward. I do know we are at the end of the line, the end of the Northwestern transmission main. And this is some issues. It took me the first 2 years to finally get an automatic flusher because we had bacteria and there were zero chlorine residuals because the bacteria would build up during the warm and the hot summer months. And matter of fact, I think they took it off because it wasn't functioning properly, but it needs to be put back on. It's at the corner of Winona and Concord. And so when you fight for things, and it's sad because you think that you shouldn't have to fight. It should just automatically happen. So if you ride down Winona Street during the summertime, every block you will see, even across Welch, starting at Mackin, the fire hydrants will be open. That is to put a false demand on the water system. The false demand means they're flushing the system because we're at the end of it. So it's all of that gook that's, it's there. And you will see them, and they leave it running 24/7. I've seen them. I've done shows on it, and I've did pictures. I know in my area, this is a problem. The fact that nobody knew what to test for, how about bacteria? How about what people died for? I mean, how about that? I'm not understanding that why we're not testing for everything. And if you look in those filters, it's everything. I did not see his faucet until today. The toilet, I know that there were problems with toilets. So when you do like a cluster, so it lets you know, if you don't test every home, you know that in that area that there's a problem. So if you got 2 homes within a 3-block or a 10-block area or 5-block, there's a problem in the area. So it's not every home. So water labs test for things like bacteria, E. coli, chemicals, nitrates, lead, arsenic, pesticides, heavy metals, physical properties, pH, mold, turbidity, temperature, hardness, color, or odor to ensure safety, quality, covering micrological, chemical, and physical aspects to identify contaminants and assesses overall water health. How are you on the phone with the company and this is what they do, and you don't say, and they don't say to you, which they will say, so sir, ma'am, this is what we want to test for. We want to test for da 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 da. Why wasn't that said? Oh, it probably was said. And Clyde shouldn't have shuffled up there to deceive the people, because the company's going to say, so do you want us to test for bacteria? Do you want us to? It's Flint. Hell, everybody knows lead, because we don't have all the service lines replaced. Since Mayor Weaver was in there 2019, we have been at 90%. Mayor Sheldon Neely failed to finish those service lines to the point that, and he was going to be charged. I think he was charged with contempt of court almost 4 times. He did not complete the service lines. We are still in the 90 percentile. It's not 100%. He told lies about completing the water. And so when you still have every lead line, that service line, and that doesn't include indoor plumbing, you're going to have these problems. I mean, Candace, you couldn't say bacteria, chemicals, arsenic, pesticides, heavy metals, lead, mold. I mean, come on. Come on. You test water. You test it. And so when we talk about, yes, we want, and it may not be all over Flint, but we need to have a number for people to call in so we can find out where the clusters are and test those homes. Because there are areas, I know my area has it. I've talked about I know the people on Concord, Clement. I know the people on Bar. I know people in my neighborhood that they've had these problems. And so this is what you test for. I mean, this is not that hard. You know, and she tested, her and Clyde playing off of each other, good cop, bad cop. No, I didn't buy any of it. It was crap. That was crap. And it was wrong. And she better watch out, because that little young man is on her heels who's running in the 7th Ward. He coming to the meetings. And I didn't know that was him with his little kids that I riled up at the last meeting I was at. Had me running in 4-inch heels. Look, y'all, I ain't got no grandkids. And them kids, 3 little boys, I'm like, I couldn't keep up. So I want to say this, and we're gonna keep talking. Google it if you don't know. But Candace, you work at a water lab, and Clyde, but we don't know what to test for. So here's what I feel they're doing. Let's keep kicking the can down the road and never get it done past election season. There needs to be a hotline set up. You got it in your water. We need to test your filter. If that's in your toilet, it's in your water. If that's in your toilet, it's in your water. That's just a fact. And so there were some things. That meeting was just, I was pissed. I was ticked off. And so when we talk about, what happened with Flint with the water crisis, what happened, why, how did we get it, and what happened with Flint? We know what happened with Flint. We know that it was less than, thank Jonathan, look, y'all, look down at the scroll. Don't forget to donate. I hadn't even told him where to go. Thank you, Jonathan. We know that the Flint water crisis, it only costs about $100, $140 a day to no more than $140 to treat the water. And so when we talk about how they, it was criminal, let me say this, how they did Flint in the residents, that they bypassed for 18 months treating the water. And they knew what was wrong, and they let people, oh no, the water's a little yellow, no problem. It's the same as that sediment saying no problem. And they have it. But when you get government that hides, then that's a problem. So I don't know, that one was, I watched that like, what am I doing? What am I watching actually? So what happened with the water crisis? Well, people in Flint died. They died. Death. You cannot return from death. Okay. You're not bouncing back. Your spirit may live, but not in this realm. So people died in the Flint water crisis, primarily because of Legionnaire's disease, a severe pneumonia linked to the water switch, officially causing 12 deaths, potentially more. And Frontline on PBS did one that I believe they stated they connected about 72 deaths. So it's never been reported accurately. The water crisis also exposed thousands to toxic lead, leading to long-term health issues and developmental problems in children through lead poisoning, Deaths were as clearly documented as the Legionnaires' cases. Legionnaire's disease, Legionella outbreak caused when Flint switched its water to the corrosive Flint River in 2014. It corroded the pipes, reducing chlorine levels and allowing Legionella and pneumophilia bacteria to thrive. The impact, this led to one of the largest Legionnaires outbreak in U.S. history. It is actually the largest, okay? City of Flint had the largest Legionnaires breakout. A series of, in U.S. history, a serious form of pneumonia. Then again, it goes to talk about, so I want y'all to go, if you want to look, I'm a documentary person and a news person. I love news and documentaries. The Front Line has a very good one on with PBS. Watch all of those. Frontline and others suggest the true toll, including undiagnosed cases, could reach higher, potentially around 90. I was off with my number 72. It's 90 or more pneumonia deaths in the affected area. Lead poisoning caused. The same corrosive water leached from the aging pipes, contaminating the drinking water, impacting children who are exposed to dangerous levels, causing long-term developmental issues, lowered IQ, and behavioral problems. But direct deaths from the lead poisoning were less defined with the Legionnaires. In 2022, Stephanie Rogers' mother had Legionnaires. She was hospitalized. She lived on Concord Street. Her hospital papers stated it. When she told me, we ran copies off and we delivered them door to door, letting people know. Her next door neighbor had the city out to do the chlorine residuals to test, and the chlorine residuals tests were not, she said, first it said no, first two tests said none. Then they went and put a false demand on the water and opened up the fire hydrant. It came back to 1. All it takes is 1. Is they like to say 5, but it has to show no chlorine residuals were in the water. But when we have this is a conversation because we have to deal with honesty. We have not had honesty with this administration. We have not had it. Don't be dazzled by stuff that it never gets to you. $94.7 million came to the city with Congressman killed, and he said, if I backed the Brinks truck up, it wouldn't make a difference because they wouldn't know what to do with the money. That's $94.7 million was given underneath Mayor Sheldon Neely's administration, and it has not reached the residents. He will leave office being a millionaire. You will not. He will leave office, I'm going to say it again, being a millionaire. That is going to be a fact. Put those pictures back up, please, of Mr. Fields' water faucet. Nobody should have this happening in their house. Absolutely nobody. Flint has to be at the front of the line. Mayor Neely has had the governor's ear. He has had everybody's ear. But what you don't hear him talk about is what happened to Flint and the water. He was put here to make the water crisis go away. Meaning, if you were lucky to get $1,000 or less check, that's what he was put for, to make sure you got $1,000 or less check. It's time for a change. It's been time. This water faucet means he don't talk about it. Why is he not talking about this? He should be up there like, hey, look, let me grab this paper. Look. We got a problem. Fix Flint. Flint is at the front of the line for everything. You be at the federal government. He should be with our senators, our congressmen, our house. He's married to the state representative. Why hasn't she said anything? Mr. Fields doesn't live a mile and a half from her. This is his toilet. This is his toilet. Today. And so we got to stop voting in, and it's going to be, whatever this election season, it's going to be nasty. I'm telling you, it's going to be nasty because I've already seen nastiness. I seen nastiness on that Genesee County Commissioners meeting yesterday. It was nasty. It was nasty with the things that were hurled across that floor. It was nasty. And so it's going to be, but quit letting people tell you your faucet don't look like that. Because it does. And so when we talk about solutions and the trust of the people will tell you, the Tonya Burns share, people will tell you, believe me or your lying eyes is what it is. This is something with infrastructure money and underneath Biden. Mayor Neal had Biden's Democrat with the governor. Why didn't he fix our indoor plumbing? Because he did not give a damn. When you sent here to shut it down, to make sure y'all got them $1,000 or less checks, we're going to be living with this until we get people who actually speak up for us. The fact that they couldn't figure out Candace, come on. That bacteria, look, it's black. How about mold? How about Legionnaires? How about TTHM, PFAS? How about, lead? I don't think she said lead. People are in love with positions, titles, and power. Positions, title, and power. And it's funny because Mayor Neal is around here lying on me. Let's call it what it is. Tanya's not a nice person. When I was running, he literally told a guy at Durant Remont, don't vote for her. Don't vote for her. I'm telling you, don't vote for her. I said, you do know I'm standing right here. I can hear you. I said, what are you doing? Classless. Don't vote. She's not a good person. Well, I'll tell you what. I would be listening to my residents. I'll tell you what. I wouldn't have interfered with the Mitchell boys with that. I wouldn't have did that. I'll tell you what. I wouldn't have screwed over Fire Chief Raymond Barton, and the city picked up his tab for $225,000 because he wasn't qualified for qualified immunity. He garnished Eric Mays. He should have been garnished or made to pay that. That wasn't the city's bill. He interfered in an investigation because it was election season in 2022, and the city paid his $225,000. That wasn't our bill. I voted no on it. His 5 votes voted yes. The administrative consent order. What did they do? They voted. They took the responsibility away from the state and the federal government to put it on you. And we ain't got the money. We don't have the money for all those projects. Kenneth Miller quit. Mike Brown quit because he said he was told to shred a contract. He was told to shred the contract shred the garbage contract with Republic Waste. And the mayor yelled at him and he shredded the contract. People leaving the city. I was just told one of the city attorneys that was a nice man. They let him go. And so people, we don't have talent. And anybody thinking they're going to run, it's work to do in Flint. You got to rebuild the talent. Nobody wants to work for him. Everybody left in the planning department. They left. Why? Department of Justice was investigating. Why? Problems with the Housing Commission. Funds that were missing. There's a $50 payment plan. That was the article. We're going to talk about that. Not today, though. And they left. They went to work for the Flint Housing Commission. And some left and did not have a job. How bad is it when you leave and you don't have a job to go to? You're like, I'm just done. I don't like the FBI around here because they were here. The Department of Justice. Because what happens with those funds? HUD is federal funds. You can't mess with federal funds. They left. And the guy, which was smart, he took talented people and took them to his organization. And they're doing well over there, rebuilding the Flint Housing Commission. We had so much talent leave. So much. And so you have to be able to work with people. Mayor Neely has exhibited and shown he cannot retain talent and people cannot work for him. And he needs to quit telling people Tanya's not a nice person. And people out here saying, oh, Tanya's this. You know, my work speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. And he needs to stop that. The person who's not a nice person is him. When he had Angela, the city attorney, it took me, y'all, probably a year to figure out. He had her do a whole investigation on me, and she used her maiden name with city funds. He did a whole investigation on me. And I'm like, who's this Angela person? It was her maiden name. 1 month after I got the emails, she resigned and quit. I think it got her kind of. I liked Angela, but I worked for Mayor near the proudest days of my life. I got fired, threatened to be fired every day. You know why? He wasn't who I thought he was. He was not the person when he started. And I'm going to put this, when I first met him, he was the councilman. And I paid for his program and started his program, paid for his program when he was doing WFLT. I funded that. And he was a councilman. I supported his efforts. Every town hall he did. I had my salesman, Ken Daniels, was there. And I worked out a deal because they were breaking in plasma TVs and breaking in the house, just kicking in doors. And so I would put in free alarm systems along with giving them a free daytime, nighttime color camera. And I did that at my cost because I cared about my community. I did. Born here in Flint, raised in Flint. And so I went to Flint school, went to Flint public schools, and so I did that. And so I didn't know this man. He changed. I think people get power. They get drunken with position and power. I really do believe that. And it's funny because some people don't need to have it because they don't know what to do with it. And you will see how people on that council may have came there with good intention, but become drunken with position and power. And power is a dangerous thing. He completely changed. And so it was a point where I'm like, I knew I was going to get fired every day. It was just havoc. And I'm not used to working in that. And for me, it is the best kind of boss is the one that you don't know who the boss, because everyone is talented, gifted, and know their job. When you micromanage, that's the worst kind of boss. It's because people leave. They leave. And so, I was telling someone, they was like, well, Tonya, he never told us that this was yesterday. And I said, no, I did. I said, people used to think that my company was owned by a white man. That's the truth. Because I don't care about title. I can never cast a title check. My thing is, I wanted to do good business for my community. And I did. First female African-American to own an ADT dealership in Michigan, Illinois, and Indiana. I did out of, and I did very well. Got sick, and I've shared my story. Had one of the biggest fibroids ever. I've never showed it. And sometimes God sits you down to do something. I've done all the things that I've written on private jets, and I've been to private islands. I did those things. I worked hard. I traveled, took my daughter growing up to teach her, to how to manage in the business world. She traveled everywhere. I went in and out of the country, and to give her that experience. And because my boys were too young then. And we have to make sure we give back, and also raise our children up in the way where we want them to go. I believe in that. And so when working with him, honestly, was so difficult for me because I wasn't used to that. I was not used to someone that I felt did not know what he was doing. And I'm like, you really don't know. And he wasn't a quick learner. And I started seeing people quitting. And he started firing people first. One of the things where I was irritated is with Sergeant Detective Booth, where he called me and said, walk with me. We go up to his office in the intel room, and congratulations, Sergeant Booth retired too. So congratulations to him retiring from Flint. I guess he said, had enough. And we get up there and, at the table, I'm sitting across from Booth, and the mayor's sitting at the head of the table. And Booth says, the mayor says, well, what do you think I'm here for? He said, for my badge and my gun. And Booth just had this look of worry because he has a family, and he went to reach for it. I said, oh, I'm not here for this. No. And he said, no, well, we're going to talk. But you intimidating this man. And then he tells him, this is the pettiness. You know what you did. And Booth should have sued the city. He should have. Because I would have told, you don't threaten somebody's livelihood. You don't do that. You supported Karen, Mayor Weaver, is what we said, Karen. in the election, and you got to pay for this. What? We are not out on the playground in kindergarten and somebody took your lunch, not even lunch ticket. They used your pencil to write their name. And so this man literally physically was upset. I was so embarrassed for him because he shows up to do his work. But to do that, one, that's an HR. He don't know that it's HR. You don't do that. We got all these lawsuits because of Neely. He using the legal department as his own personal attorneys. Booth should have sued him. He should have sued him. He threatened to fire him and wanted his gun and his badge, and he was scared. He was scared. You shouldn't have to work and feel your job is in jeopardy. Suzanne Wilcox would call me all the time. He worried her so bad. People would call before meetings. Am I getting fired? Joyce McClain. I remember her sitting in the lobby and just dropping her laptop, and she was so nervous. He was calling people in just to fire them because it just excited him. And I'm like, what kind of mess is this? And so when you have a person who is not focused on the people, but on the power and the position, then the administration begins to rot. And it began to rot. People began to leave. We lost Rod Benzick. Joyce McClain, she ended up leaving. Suzanne Wilcox. And we can keep, it's been so many people quitting entire planning department. They left and some didn't have jobs. We've been through Ray Barton. He ended up telling him he was going to fire. He sued. It's just been a mess because when you don't do it for the right reasons, and people keep saying, oh, he can't be beat. Oh, he's right for being beat, tore up, and probably should be indicted. And so when you see this, people got to quit saying, oh, it's okay. Well, he's got money. Money don't fear you. People don't fear money. God can do something that you don't even understand. That's who has control. And people see it. People mad about them $1,000 checks. And y'all should, because he was here to make that water crisis go away. And he did. Y'all getting these $1,000 checks. And look, every person who running, you need to talk about them $1,000 checks. And why people didn't speak up for you. Why they never spoke up and said, we need more. They never protested. They never discussed it. They never said it ain't right. They didn't. You got 5 people voted for that administrative consent and didn't even know what it was. On September 23rd, they voted to approve it, to make it go away. Quincy came in, he was sick. September 29th, Quincy passed away. That was his last favor for Liddell Lewis. And there's trouble in paradise now, y'all. I'm just telling y'all. His trouble in paradise. And so when we talk about that, and you look at this administration, 2019, 2026, is your life better? Y'all saw that plank I had on my tire. It was literally a plank. Between the planks and the stuff on the potholes. And I was like, fear. I'm like, let me just put this up here. And people are like, well, what is it? Why didn't you see it? Because it's dark. We need to light Flint up. Like Councilwoman Winfrey Carter said, light these streets up. She do it like this. Light them streets up. Jerry, I love you. You can't see it. I was on my way home from a council meeting. It's dark. It was a dark piece of metal. Yes, those were fairly new tires, about 6 months old. All 4 of them. And I'm like, I was so mad. I made up some new words. Then I had to call, I couldn't drive and I didn't want to take it out because it was about that thick. And I had it towed to Bell Tire. And Bell Tire Miller Road has taken care of Tonya Burns. They took care of me. They was like, what did this happen? I'm like, a side street in Flint, coming home from a council meeting. And so I could not, it was in there. So I had to get that taken care of. And then it tore up the wheel well in my left tire. So it wasn't even like the curb side. It was on the driver's left. So it was, towards the middle of the street. You couldn't see it. You could not see it. And so y'all look, be careful, slow down on these streets because these potholes is slashing y'all tires and y'all rims. And them little donuts can't take y'all riding for 4 months. That ain't what they meant for. Not at all. So think that you were riding the wrong way before flat. No, I was not doing that. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. I was told by 2 people and 1 person that somebody slipped Maze a Mickey. And the person who told me that, y'all, it told me and said, hey, Maze hadn't had anything. Someone bought him a drink. He went out to smoke. He came back. They bought him a drink. They put something in his drink. Maze told me the story beforehand. The person who told me this was a person who I respect their opinion, who was a high official in a policing agency. She was with them that night. She was with them. She was with them. And I respect her telling me that. So, and Flint is a different beast. It is. So we are going to go on side to side track, y'all. Sorry. So I just want to say that needs to be reworked. I have not, after talking to Mr. Roy Fields, I will be sending an email to Clyde with these are the things you need to get done. Mr. Roy Fields has been getting some testing and dealing with some other agencies also. And I am going to, I got an email to prepare to send to him. So that's that. So Jonathan, let's go on to the next thing. I'm sorry I sidebar y'all, but Neely said he's been telling people she's not he's telling this to pastors. She's not a good person. Does that make you feel better? I'm only going to judge you on your record. You can make up all kind of crap about me because you sure did a background check and for months you did it. For months you did it. So we're going to go on to the next thing, y'all. So, so we're going to start. We're going to get into, we're going to talk about these fires. And it's been a lot of fires. And we're going to talk about the fire safety fund, fire escrow fund. We're going to talk about why everything is burning up now, and we're going to talk, I had a gentleman, a man, and Denise called me, Denise Morgan. She called me on it may have been a Sunday. And she called me and needed some information. A man had died in a house on Court Street, my ward. And her sister, her best friend needed answers. And I talked to her too. And the house I had actually turned in to be demoed because the house had already been on fire 2 known times and and shot up. So it was, and the city had the money. But we're gonna talk about these other fires too. It's been a lot of fires. And I got a very interesting call. And I had to meet with the people, met with someone. They gave me some interesting information. But this is when we were talking about the fire. Fire Chief Wiggins scolded us. He didn't want us to talk about fire because when we do, it causes people to go out to start fires in the homeless. So let's put A10 Flint Xavier. Thank you. Thanks to A10 Flint Xavier. Y'all go on his channel and click like, because he does some great work. And I want to say, look, don't forget to Cash App, $JEatonMedia. It's down at the scroll, but let's please kindly donate to $JEatonMedia because I can't do this without him. But let's play this video because we're going to talk about these fires, y'all.
The most easiest crime and very easy to conceal because it's done mostly in the dark of night. And most of the houses that are burning are vacant and dilapidated property. But what I would ask this body I feel that people love watching the city council either on your TikTok, either on your Facebook, and whatever media that you guys display. I would ask that a lot of the rhetoric and the irresponsible things that you're saying over your network has a great effect of people starting fires. And what's happening is we have a young crew, about 50 young firefighters, and it's wearing them down. It's tearing up our trucks. Because just the minute when speech in this chamber goes out against nobody is doing arson investigation, nobody is doing anything, which is not true.
Chief Wiggins,
Yes, ma'am.
arsonist. I mean, do we have, what are we doing? There is an arsonist, probably more than one.
You said what, arson?
What are we doing about arsonists or arson fires?
Very little at this point. Speech in this chamber goes out against nobody is doing arson investigation, nobody is doing anything, which is not true. And if that was said by me, it was a mistake, because we do, from the firefighters, we all go out and deal with investigating these fires. Do we find some? Not really. We have a person that's being arrested or was arrested for arson. He was in a vacant house living there, and he did start a fire, and we did catch him, and he's being prosecuted. And we are glad to have that, but most of the arsons go without being prosecuted because there's no one to do it.
Do we have any evidence on who is starting these fires?
Evidence, meaning that.
No, do you have any leads on who is starting any of these fires?
No.
No, you don't. So you come up here and you spew out asinine comment that we are causing these fires.
I mean, I didn't hear you. Can you say
I
that
said
again?
you have zero evidence and zero leads on who is doing these fires, but you come up here and spew an asinine comment that the rhetoric on this council is causing people to start fires. Now, how ignorant is that? That makes zero sense.
First of all, to answer your question, Mr. Pfeiffer.
What proof do you have that anybody watching
We
it-
do have evidence.
Okay.
And they are in jail as we speak.
Because, and they said that, oh, I got inspiration from watching a city council meeting, so I went out and burned
Their reason for starting a fire is between the investigators. We don't come out and display why people started a fire. That's up to the prosecutor, that's up to the police and the court system.
So obviously, somebody said that they watched the city council meeting and said, I went and started a fire.
I didn't say that.
Hey, that's exactly what
You said that.
No, that's exactly what you said.
You said
That's
that.
exactly what you said. You said that the rhetoric on this council is making people go out and start fires.
I said, are you going to deal with him?
Man, yeah,
RL, please.
please have RL, would you please have a seat? I'm bringing you to order.
That was just
Thank you.
irresponsible comment.
And hold on, and let me say that, go ahead, let's stop the time. We're gonna stop the time. I want to make sure that this is a respectful dialogue. We don't want this to be argumentative per the rule.
He accused us of being arsonists.
Wait a minute, excuse me, the chair is still chairing. So I want to make sure that this is not an argumentative dialogue. So let's make sure that we just reel it in. And let's talk respectful amongst one another, especially with the chief. So let's go ahead and, can you put it back at like 2 minutes? It's probably when it got a little loose.
You have to check this out. There's a new AI dog that just dropped, and it's essentially a real puppy minus the chaos, noise, and expensive.
Well, no. All right, well, just in case somebody has something to say. So go ahead, Mr. Pfeiffer.
I'm done.
Okay.
He accused us of being
Mr.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Mr. Pfeiffer, In respect of what your comment just was, I wasn't saying that every councilman. I said that sometimes people will misconstrue what is said in the council, and they take it as read. And we have proof that the fires increase when the comments come up. The fires increase. We have that data that it increased. And I said, we all are fighting for the same goal.
So I was the one who did state at our last meeting, because during budget hearings, when we are to have dialogue and asked you, I did ask you, what are we doing for, we have arsonists, and we have very good dialogue if you go back and watch, and I'll email it to you. And so you did state that you were not doing anything at that time. You had stumbled across someone. So I know that it's gotten, we have to talk about it because it's a problem. And I do know, because I've been to the homes, several of them, and I know that they light fires. I don't know if you were in here, a lot of them like to go to the older homes where there's a natural fireplace because they can burn in there. I've had several burn down to the ground where the homeless, and I literally made a call and asked them, I agree, arresting them doesn't solve the problem. What I do know there's a problem is there may be 150 beds available, but it's probably 300 to 400 people that we have that are homeless. Market rate rent is not a rent people can afford at $1,200, $1,400. It's just not. And all these people, they're not bad people. They just fell on bad times. I worry about the toll it's taken on the firefighters with running the opioid, because they're showing up. And if you're doing fires, you're doing opioid, usually you get a run, but the runs, it seems like it's constant now. So that part, how is their morale?
Morale is good. They get paid every 2 weeks, and we get them the best equipment. And the ambulance, we have 42 people in the ambulance services. That's all they do. And then the rest of them are firefighters. They switch on, and we get the job done.
St. Mark, we had a fire bombing, and there were some protocols where they wanted to come out. And I think that, I don't know where we're at with no one's arrested or charged, may have been arrested and taken it, but I know that the ATF is investigating that. But I want to make sure that we follow through on that, because no church should be firebombed. I mean,
Well, we don't know if it was fire bombed. We don't know that for sure. It was
No, I do. I
firebombed.
saw the video.
Well,
He walked with 3 cans of gasoline. He lit it. He had rags. He poured it in there, and it was firebombed.
He started a fire. I mean, that's just your language of fire bomb.
Okay, set on fire. He had, no, not my language. There's video. I watched the videos.
Okay.
And I saw the 3 gasoline cans.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, and from 20 different angles of cameras.
Yes, ma'am.
It was to me, that is disturbing. We don't get black churches. That reminds me of the civil rights when they were trying to get people to vote, and that was the only place that black people could congregate. And we should have taken this serious. And I am with Councilwoman Priestley that when we get someone, she's saying, let's let everyone know, and let's set an example that arson in our city is not to be tolerated, that we're taking it serious, to highlight. And if the prosecutor isn't prosecuting the people, when you get them over there, then that's something we need to work on and speak with our city attorney to make sure. Because if you're collective, you have suspects or likely looking at the situation, because some people will burn a house down or burn a building down for insurance. And we know that things that they look for, burn patterns. It was a building occupied. Those are things that in other key factors. So we have a problem with that. If the prosecutor isn't doing his job or over at that office, that's something that the city attorney needs to speak with him and council too, to make sure that you can't just burn down the city. Okay, so we're going to talk about these. Dennis Pfeiffer, thank you for sufficiently correcting the record and doing it passionately, because when someone tells you, yes, St. Mark was firebombed. Okay? It's a whole video on it. Jonathan, we need to put it on our Western name. It was firebombed. When you have a fire chief who is so disconnected, it's a problem. He never went to the church. He did not. How you the whole fire chief and a pastor and you don't reach out to another pastor? Come on. It's time for this city to stop being divided. Neely has divided the city. He got the fire chief come up here saying that the council people, which him and Liddell, which was the stupidest thing ever, because I asked. He said he's not doing much of anything about fire. Y'all heard him. He said it. Then he backpedaled and said, well, if I said it, I shouldn't have said it. You said it, sir. You said it. You said it. Then you blame the homeless. It just kept getting back. But he does not have the same energy for men as he has for women. The energy for women is, and towards me, is nasty. The energy when Dennis was in, thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, Jonathan is on it. Come on now. Y'all hit that cash app for him. This is the night of the fire. Watching that lower right-hand corner, you see in the back or in the upper right-hand corner, there he goes. He was there for like almost an hour. It was firebombed. It was on the news. You tell me how a fire chief in the city didn't know this happened? How do you not know? He looking at some fruit or what's in the basket. He's paying attention. Come on. You get up there and say it was not fire. Don't do semantics with me. Have that energy when Dennis said that was asinine. There we go, going back. This is St. Mark, August 30th. And so when we talk about this, it's time for this administration to be gone. It is time. They will leave millionaires. You will get $1,000 check or less. And if you got that, and they telling you St. Mark's was not firebombed. I'm sorry. You bring 3 gasoline cans. You bring rags. You leave them at the site. And we got video. Sir, it was firebombed. That is why the ATF is investigating still. There we go with the what is that? Rags in his hand. How you the whole fire chief and you got the video? I gave it to Chief Green, so stop the lying. Flint had the DVR, the ATF, they shared the information. It was firebombed. Say it, Chief Wiggins, it was firebombed. We asked for, spoke to Battalion Chief Presswood, asking, and there we go again, with some rags. What do you do with a firebomb? You need something to, when you put the accelerant on. Watching that lower right-hand corner, to upper right-hand corner. He done dumped 3 gasoline cans in there. 3. And it wasn't firebombed? This ain't the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s for civil rights. Now watch closely. He's up there in the upper right-hand corner. And they're mad at me because I speak about it and I talk about it. They did everything to try to destroy me. When people try to speak about it, and you'll get people say, oh, don't trust her. She a snake. And it's men and women do that. I'm doing my damn job. I need everybody else to do theirs. This was firebombed. You see him, he's still up there. 3 gasoline cans. 3. Some still had gas. We have 1 in the field. Other 2 in the dumpster. And this happened. Thank you, Patrick Jean. Thank you. For the 1999. Now, he trying to say it wasn't firebombed. ATF classified it as a firebomb. It was firebomb with the accelerant is gas. There he go, leaving. He gonna come back. He was there almost an hour. And I'm saying it's 20 cameras on the church. Plus, the cameras caught him. How you gonna tell me in a council meeting, you should be telling me this shouldn't happen. We need to support St. Mark. But I want to say thank you to the community that when I went live, that look, fire. Y'all saw, watch it. Now, see him running? Yeah, there we go. You can see up on the garage the fire. Tell me that wasn't a fire bombing. Can we roll that back and pause it, Jonathan? And I know I'm asking you thank y'all. Look, donate to Jonathan because he did this video. Credits to him. Y'all seen him light it. Boom, there we go. Fire bomb. The church wasn't set on fire. Wasn't no electrical fire. Stop it, Chief Wiggins, and quit playing in our face. You keep breaking our community too. I don't want nobody working for me who got to lie for me. If you got to work for me and lie for me, I'm not qualified and your ass ain't either. That was firebomb. It wasn't fire. Okay. The community showed up for St. Mark. It were people, black, white, young, old, pastors. People came from Saginaw, Frankenmuth, Detroit to support. But where we did not get support from was Mayor Neely's administration like it should have been. He should have rolled out the red carpet doing everything. But because he's so divisive, I don't have to like you as my enemy. But when you in my city, I got to love the people because there's parishioners I know in his church that voted for him, for Neely. You can't treat people like this. We are tired of the weight of Neely's administration on our necks, on our backs. We're tired of it and lying in our face. Wasn't electrical. Wasn't nobody left the oven on. No one was cooking. No one had chicken on the oven, frying it. No, it was firebomb. He came with gasoline. And then you blame council for bringing awareness? Nah, he was mad because Liddell, the guy they thought, she was putting up smoke alarms with standing next to him, was one of the people was the suspects. And she thought she was getting back at me. Sometimes you got to be bold enough to speak your truth and show your truth. This is the truth. This church was firebombed. How dare you downplay it and try to use semantics? And you a pastor. They split up the seniors. What they do with the seniors, split them up, kicked them out, canceled their lease. We ought to be tired of them coming in treating us like dogs and peasants. You move and you get what I decide to throw out at you. It's time to vote and do something different. This is an election year. 25% of people show up. Another 75% say there ain't nobody who's going to speak up for it, and we not going to even show up. It's time to show up. And people, if you run and you talk about them $1,000 checks, because Neely is the reason why he brought here, then talk about this water crisis, ain't doing nothing about it, ain't said nothing, ain't finished them service lines in 6 years from 2019 to 2026, and you got a measly, itty bitty breadcrumb $1,000 check. Your washing machine was messed up. Your water heaters, I'm on my second or third water heater. Your indoor, your plumbing. Look at Mr. Fields' plumbing. Your humidifiers on your furnaces. Some furnaces have them on the side because we've always had one because it has a humidifier. And so that the moisture goes through the furnace. Hot water heaters, dishwasher, washing machines, refrigerators with the ice makers, your indoor plumbing. And you get $1,000 or less. And if that ain't for no other reason for him that he need to be gone, come on. See how far that $1,000 go. Take that $1,000 and donate it to a campaign to get somebody who's gonna run the city and respect you, who's gonna speak up for you, who's gonna talk about bringing in economic development, who's gonna make sure your voice is heard, who's inclusive of seniors, children, who not breaking up people, not throwing out House of Esther, making sure that pregnant teens and babies are thrown out, locking them out of buildings, kicking them out to prove something. Just a tyrant that you kicking out Hasselbrink because you mad. You mad. Thank you, Tyrell Reed. Thank you for the green. Thank you. Thank you. Because you mad. You breaking up. But you can't stop what God is covering. When Beverly Lewis got tired enough, she said, Tonya, I'm tired. I didn't miss a court date for her. I cried with her. I prayed with her. I said, I'm going to be there with you till I find you a place for a ribbon cutting. And I did that. She temporarily, and I thank Pastor Rita Mount Carmel Baptist Church. He allowed them to temporarily be there till she was able to be placed with Pastor Timmons. And once she was placed with Pastor Timmons, we did a ribbon cutting. It's about healing our community, bringing our community together. I'm tired of fixing stuff that nearly breaks down. He's breaking our city down, breaking it down. He will leave a millionaire, him and his wife. You got $1,000 check. His mission is accomplished. So let's go on, because that was a firebombing, just so we clear, because y'all seen it. So let's go on to the next, because, we talk about what he said about these fires, and shout out to the Color Law Coalition as they go out. The ladies, and Tanya Jones goes out more than I have the time for, and Debbie and Diane. The homeless staying in the band. I'm gonna tell y'all, it is heartbreaking. Thanksgiving we went out, and it was fires all up and down Rankin, Genesee Street, all over. Thanksgiving, I met with somebody today, and it was interesting. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna talk about that though. So when we talk about fires, that was a firebombing at St. Mark, because we want to be clear. The video shows it. The ATF investigating it. Still, I want to talk about play. If you can play, look, you is on it. You own it. Thank you, thank you. So let's play. So we had three homes burnt up by Christ Fellowship Church on Hamilton. Let's play this video, and thank you, Courtney, for covering this.
As of this afternoon, bricks were still smoking at a home on Flint's north side after a fire ravaged through the area. We're looking at that aftermath, where 3 homes once stood. Now, all that's left is debris. Several fires ignited last night in Flint and one in Flint Township. These homes were on East Hamilton between Bonbright Street and Francis Avenue. According to records from the Flint property portal, structures were on all 3 sites. 2 of the homes were owned by private owners. The other was owned by the Genesee County Land Bank.
Not only is it devastation, but it's dangerous. It's dangerous for the neighbors.
This video from last night provided to Mid-Michigan Now from the Facebook page Keeping the Community Informed. A fire consuming this area of Flint on East Hamilton. This was just one fire. There were multiple, including one at the former Boost Mobile in Flint Township. Flint City Councilwoman Tonya Burns tells me that's a problem.
I know it puts a strain, and I appreciate what they do because they put their lives on the line each day to keep our community safe. But this is putting a strain. We have a problem with arson.
At this time, it's unclear whether these were intentionally started. Flint has seen its fair share of homes going up in flames. Is there anything that can be done?
Is it something we can do? Yeah, if you see something, say something. If you're not comfortable with calling 911, call your council person.
Councilwoman Burns says her grandparents live not too far from this spot. She remembers as a young child visiting this area often.
To see these neighborhoods fall into despair like this, I would like to see before they get this far, have some type of program to revitalize the neighborhoods. Let's save what we can.
The aftermath of a fire leaves the area with debris, a problem Councilwoman Burns says in regards to health and safety.
But it's even more dangerous when we're left with these open basements. People begin to dump. So then we have a blight issue, and it's dangerous and it's hazardous. I just saw someone looking around here as I sat and watched for metal. This isn't safe for people to be going through inside of the building and structure.
Councilwoman Burns says, again, if you see something, call 911. I did reach out to the city of Flint to see if someone from the fire department would talk about these fires, and a communications person told me they sent my request and we're waiting for a response. As of this newscast, I have not heard back.
My wife said, if you
Listen, she's still waiting for them to contact her. Listen, they have still not contacted. I'm going to tell you why. They don't want you to talk about. You just had a fire chief say when we talk about fire, there's fire safety. No secret, my first husband was the fire marshal of Saginaw. So I know more about fire because I studied with him. He didn't have that job before we get married. And so studying, he went to college, I went to college, we were studying together. And I learned a lot about it because he took it very serious. He pulled out 5 children, 5 people, 3 of them were children, out of a fire, and it changed him. My kids were used as the stop, drop, and roll kids with the smokehouse, and that's what they did. He had them trained, stop, drop, roll, and fire safety, and you learn, a lot. And this is not normal with what's happening. It's just not. And so it's not the homeless. You don't dare blame council. So prevention, fire prevention. The fire prevention department, which is a part of the fire department, tells you how to prevent fires. Have you smoke detectors? Have you what's the thing? Yeah, I know I'm talking about the red thing with the foam. Have a fire escape plan. And if you see anything in the area where the fire's happening, call 911, report it. Report things that look suspicious. But Thanksgiving Day, because people figured they would be traveling, people wouldn't be home, there was a lot of fires. So that's when, now this one was about within a week before Thanksgiving. Let's play the video with Facebook with the fire of Swanson's funeral home. This is all the same block. This is all in the same block. Swanson. Fire extinguisher. Thank you, Sheena. So that was Swanson, formerly Green Funeral Home, burning down. So let's continue to right here. Now, can we freeze it? Okay, thank you. So here's the thing. Within a week before that, it was the other 3 properties that burned. Same street. Same street. You go across the street. It was Swanson's Funeral Home, formerly Green Home Funeral, which was very historic. We've talked about and did some history on it. So then we get, now that was that burning. So then we get Thanksgiving Day. Literally, there were the fires that was on Rankin, Genesee, all over that area. And as we were out feeding the homeless, giving them gloves, hats, coats, just in 2 meals that day, we had to stop because it was fire trucks everywhere up and down ML King, everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God. And I would have covered it, but I had Tonya Jones in my car. And her husband had picked up one of the guys who was showing us where the people were at, and she needed to keep an eye on that car. But the whole area was lit up. It was lit up. It was lit up. And so when we look at these and we talk about these fires, it's something different. Can you put up the house that was on the one that I showed you had the crop? So another issue, so this is on Court Street. So Court Street, this house I turned in numerous times for demo because it had been burned up three, I think three. And so about 2 months ago, a young man or a man, I spoke with his sister, went in the house. I guess he lit up a fire to stay warm and died in the house. So there was a fatality in the home. It was difficult to what do you call it with the body? It was hard to figure out his identity. And so this home I have turned in so many times. So here's the thing. Homeowner contacted me and said she was worried and she doesn't live here anymore. And I won't get into what her case is. And she actually still owns the home. And she said, you know, Councilwoman Burns, I gave them the insurance money to tear that down. They have it. So Flint has what we call, this is the back of it. Y'all, they done burnt the house down to everything, okay? That's the back. And so he went there and his probably was tired, went to sleep, and, you know, we see this with some. Now for Chief Wiggins to say we shouldn't say anything now, because there's neighbors. If you see something, call. You know, it's not normal. I mean, this house had been set on fire already a couple times before he had, you know, went in there, because I turned it in. And it had CP. I asked them to board it up. I asked the city to board it up. They had almost $25,000 to board this building up and to demo it. It should have been secured by the city. So nobody can go in if you were putting off the demo. Her money from the insurance check was held. She called me. She had insurance. She still owns the property. She still owns it. And so she said it went into the fire escrow fund. And I'm going to tell you something about, so I had some calls and met with some people. And so we're going to talk about that fire escrow fund, because there was some interesting things with the fire escrow fund. A lot of people don't know what is the fire escrow fund. So the fire escrow fund is, and these are some former city employees I've talked to and people talking. So the Flint Fire Escrow Fund in Flint is a financial program designed to handle, remove, or repair abandoned fire, damaged, and blighted structures that pose safety hazards. It operates under the Michigan Fire Insurance Withholding Program, which allows the city to withhold a portion of insurance settlements for properties damaged by fire, explosion, or other perils. Key details about the Fire Escrow Fund in Flint: the purpose. The funds assure that if an insurance company pays a policyholder for a loss, the money is not simply taken while leaving a dangerous, damaged building. That building that's left there that was paid is dangerous. It's dangerous. That lady lost her brother in that house. That house was never secured. I asked for it numerous times to be boarded up and to be secure. City failed to secure that. The funds are used to secure, repair, demolish structures. The mechanism is when property in the city suffers to qualifying severe fire loss, 25% of the insurance settlement, or up to a maximum adjusted annual by the state, which is $24,096, is held in an escrow account. Release the funds if the property owner repairs or removes debris structure to code within a time frame. Escrow funds are returned to them. Used for the demolition if the owner, and there's millions that was abandoned, because I know coming in when Mayor Neely's like, well, how much was in the fire safety fund? Because he owed someone money from the fire. He said that the prior, they didn't pay on one, and Mayor Neely had told the person he was going to pay him on a building that was demolished when he first got in there. He was going to pay him on it because he hadn't been paid on doing a demolition from the fire fund. He said, use it if the owner abandons the property, the city uses the funds to cover the cost for demolition. Okay, so that building should have been secured on Court Street. They took the fire safety fund. It tells you that the funds are supposed to be to secure, demolish the property, making sure that it's not leaving the property dangerous and damaged behind, making sure it's not dangerous and damaged. Okay, so put that, thank you. So I wanted to share that with people. So one of the things that a former employee said, to get the money out of the fire fund, the city has to start fires. They're running a racket. I said, what do you mean? They're running a racket. To get the money, you got to have them to start the fire. Those fires are being started by someone. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? You can only get the money out of that fund if there's a house to demolition. Well, we now know we got 3 over there. Swanson should be money to get out of that fire fund. Those 3 homes that were burnt down, Rankin Street, Genesee, and all these fires. I'm like, are you serious? Yeah, they were serious. Because some of these fires are dangerously close to where people live also. I did tell that person what they needed to do was contact the FBI, and they needed to contact the Eastern District to let them know. Because if you have that information, I'm not an authority that can investigate that. So we know that going in that there's money where some people don't even know that they had the money that was in the fire fund. Only way you can on the books remove it is if you're doing a demolition, if you're tearing down. And so this is something that's serious. So the lady who owns, see that one house, that house should have been secured. That house been set on fire so many times. It should have been boarded up. It was not. It's not, still in her name. And she lost her brother. Can you put that back up for me, Jonathan, please? And y'all look, hit the click, like, share, hit the like button for me. And so Flint is something different. And so when we look at that fire, because I'm like, why are they're burning down in that one area? And literally it was Thanksgiving night. We went out to feed the homeless, the Color Law Coalition, and it was fire trucks from everywhere and other agencies that were helping, other agencies. And so when you have that fires like this, those funds, if there was insurance on it, they're holding it back. But when we asked the fire chief, what are we doing about fire? He says, almost nothing for him. We stumbled across somebody. I mean, we're all on SWAT cameras. We don't have no SWAT cameras in this area. Got your people? Come on now. Okay, you can turn that down. So I told the person you need to contact the FBI. I don't do fire investigation, but this is someone who had worked for the city. I do want to state Mark again was firebound or formerly worked for the city. That fire fund money, you can use it to demo. I read to you what the funds are and can be for. And we got tons of demo. But I mean, if you burn in 3 houses right next to other 1, 2, 3, come on. That's 1, 2, 3. And we got to look at that. And I did tell them what they needed to do was I don't do that. You need to go to the to the FBI and then to report that. So let's move on. So it is not the public we're talking about. If you need a smoke detector, you can contact the Red Cross. They will give you one for free. If you need a smoke detector, they will give you one for free. So, all right, we're going to go on to the next thing, because people have been concerned about all these fires. And to all of you out there who are showing them, kudos to y'all. I mean, because y'all doing your job. You are doing your job. But thank you, Ty. Tanya, she's a new member. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So if I'm not reading y'all comments, because it go through a lot. We're going to go on to the next one. So campaign season. People care about the $1,000 checks and people mad. They mad. So when we talk about that, it's with that fire safe fund, we're going to talk about that Flint water settlement. That Flint water settlement. So people were mad about the Flint water settlement, those checks, and yes, they should have been. And people had every right to be. And people did not get, everybody didn't even get the $1,000 check. So thank you for having that up. So I'm going to read. So the Flint water settlement. Checks are being mailed out late 2025 and early 2026. Eligible claimants for property damage and personal injury, with payments varying significantly based on harm, especially favoring children exposed during the crisis. Though the process has faced multiple delays due to complex claims and documentation, with the official settlement website being the best place for updates. Who's getting paid and how much? Children first. The largest portion, 64%, goes to children aged 6 and younger, with smaller amounts for older and minor adults. Property owners, you get up to $1,000 per eligible property, shared if multiple people qualify for the same parcel. So if you own a parcel with somebody else, you are dividing that up. Injury claims, adults proven with injuries get 15% of the fund, while property damage claims get 3%. Varies widely. While some property payments are modest, payouts for severe childhood exposure can reach $100,000. Status of payments checks issued as of late 2025-26. Some checks have started going out, with thousands of property claims being processed. Rolling basis payments are being issued on a rolling basis, so not everyone receives theirs at the same time. Delays. The overall process has been slower than anticipated due to the massive number of claims and documentation needed. Where to get official information? Check officialflintwaterpayments.com for updates. So you can go to officialflintwaterpayments.com for updates. You can go to, again, officialflintwaterpayments.com. Sheena, if you or Patrick can put that in there, someone can put it in the chat for me, please. So you can go to officialflintwaterpayments.com if you need updates. Officialflintwaterpayments.com. If you can put that in the comments. And so let's put those checks back. So you can't tell somebody who they didn't put stainless steel appliances in their refrigerator and their dishwasher. You can make it big. Thank you. So your name, Flint residents, you're going to get $1,000 if your hot water, washing machine, refrigerator, and water line. And this is sad. Not one of them appliances cost $1,000 nowadays, but you're going to get $1,000. Your time, your effort, $1,000. Do you hear me? A slap in the face, a kick in the face, in the teeth, $1,000. So if you're on your third hot water heater, which like I am, and if you're on your refrigerator, you got to get it in your dishwasher. You get $1,000. And if it's two people, on the claim or whatever, you split it, you divide it. You only get $1,000 per parcel. Just letting y'all know. $1. Thank you for putting that in the chat. $1 per parcel. $1,000 per parcel. So let's put up the next one, because this is just shameful. Shameful. So, Flint residents, for your suffering for your indoor plumbing replacement, because you're not getting indoor plumbing. They got programs, and we left millions of dollars on the table because they didn't have nobody who knew how to fill out the paperwork. And Faith was there. Faith is a Bromstead. They fired Faith. Why? Because Faith knew what she was doing. Why? Faith cared about the people. By the way, she's suing the city of Flint. I don't know if she's won her lawsuit yet, but she probably will, because Faith was trying to get a pilot program. Then the mayor was a plagiarizing pirate, hijacked her program and called it his own. Plagiarism pirate struck again. And so she was fine. She's suing the city. She'll probably win. They fired her. So indoor plumbing replacement, $1,000. Where are you going to replace? Do you think Mr. Johnson, Mr. Fields Plumbing, do you think he going to be able to replace his indoor plumbing with $1,000? Come on. Not happening. The water didn't stop at the service line. That's at the curb. It doesn't go past the sidewalk. So from the sidewalk to the house, that line was never changed, y'all. It wasn't changed. They didn't do that part. So if you had to get a service line replacement and you want to completely change yours, yeah, you get $1,000. Not only is it's an embarrassment, it's a slap in the face. They come here, they've treated our residents terrible. You get $1,000. You need to take that to put that money on a candidate that's going to fight for you, speak up for you. Because one thing Neely's not going to do, Mayor Neely is not, he was put here to make it go away. You got restoration. People still tell us, well, why the streets bad? Because of all them cuts. And we don't have a DPW. Our DPW lives in Windsor, Canada. Okay, he's 25, 26 years old, holds one license. So the current official DPW is Clyde Edwards, which Ego has stated he is not qualified to be the DPW. And so he's a DPW with the assistant DPW or deputy DPW, which is the guy, Marquand Sohala Deed. And he lives in Windsor. He's not even an American. He doesn't even live in our country. He drives from Windsor to Flint every day. That's what he does, because they think it's a joke. No one wants to work for Flint as a DPW. They don't. Not for him, they don't. Not for him, they don't. They don't want to work for Mayor Neely. Do not and will not work for him. And so what do you get for this? You get $1,000. So I'm just saying, you have to start taking this. Voting matters. So if you're talking about this, I'll put the facts up. I want people to get engaged, get involved, vote for real change. And if these people are running, them people are going to be mad about them $1,000 checks. You got every reason to be mad, because you got played to the lowest common denominator, Flint residents. They poisoned the whole city of 100,000 people. And then that didn't include people coming in to work who travel back out. But if you own a parcel in the city, Flint, this is what you get. This is what you get. And it's sad. It's sad. And so when we talk about what are we doing with the interest on it? I believe they said the attorneys asked for it because they ran over costs. The attorneys were paid a couple of years ago. And I believe they were paid $200 million because they said they had spent a lot of money. They were winning at every level and did not lose and backed off. Michigan's rainy day fund was over $1 billion. Mayor Weaver was saying, hey, we need to go for the rainy day fund. That's over $1.5 billion. And we got $1,000 checks. And everybody don't have those. Everybody does not have those. And so if you're running for office, y'all need to be paying attention to this. You really do. Talk about that. It's time to make a change. Look, y'all can take those $1,000 checks and donate them to my campaign. See what I'm saying? So listen, so we're gonna go on. Let's go on. That $1,000 was just baffling to me. I mean, and it's definitely not funny, because a hot water heater gonna cost you, between $950 and $1,200. It just is. And so when we talk about that, I want people to, because I'm not making light of it as it is. I'm making light of it. They played us again, and we have to quit accepting it. We have to quit accepting it. Some people are here to keep you poor. Some people are to keep you living with mold in your water. Some people are put here to make you live at a substandard level, while they trollop off to vacation land and they have full filtration systems in their home and you don't. Some are put here to keep you oppressed and keep you in poverty. Money never reaches you. It never reaches you. And so when it does not, it's sad. But I'm gonna speak up. And what did they do for me speaking up? Well, we gonna control her. We didn't put Mays out for 30. We put Mays out for 90. And during this 90 days, Councilman Mays passed away because he spoke up. They put me out right after. Actually, the funeral was Saturday. They voted to put me out on Monday. My attorney, we knew it was going to happen. I have spent an enormous amount in attorney fees, and I've got a great attorney firm that I appreciate. And so when we talk about that, the money that they tie your money up to make you, they break you. They accuse you of stuff. Put her out for 30 days. Took a lot to walk in there when I came back to speak. You can't break me because you didn't make me. You don't get to stop my voice. And now I look at the ones that are there, they not getting along. I'm not going to say they stabbing each other, but they taking chainsaws to each other's backs. It's crazy. So there is trouble in paradise. So let's put that up. So during the last meeting that I was at, the Trouble in Paradise, I don't know if you got, Trouble in Paradise, Liddell, Lewis, Candace, Michelle, and Tommy Johnson. So Candace and Tommy, I was told, got into a fight in the mayor's suite. Eddie Smith was there, the HR director. He was there in front of them, and Clyde Edwards and Daryl Petway had to break Tommy and Candace apart. Classy, right? This is in the mayor's suite. This has happened in the mayor's suite. You can't make this up. You can't. So Trouble in Paradise. So Jonathan, and I'm gonna send you this one back. So during the last meeting, and people are like, what are you? I know they be like, what? Candace will reach over when she wants to talk to me now. Y'all know, I don't do all that cutting your mic off. Yeah, I don't do all of that. And so Councilwoman Winfrey Carter will cut my mic off because sometimes I forget to leave it on. Candace is now cutting my mic off when she want to talk. And she's like, you need to see this. I'm like, now Candace, I'm going to tell everybody. And that's what I told her. And so I told her. And so she's like, Liddell put somebody in the race to run against me. I said, oh no, are you kidding? You said, no, I'm serious. I said, she's like, look. And so she started going through 4 or 5 screens of last April and last May text messages. And so I actually like the young man. I hate to say it. He's come there to city council, and he showed up at the Abdul. He did show up for that. And he's very respectful when he comes. And I've had some conversations. And so his name is Daryl Brown. He running against Candace. Now, Liddell was her best friend, and it is trouble in paradise now because he's showing up and he is engaged. He's active. He's a single father, and he is he's letting them know I'm running, and I'm gonna do the work. Now, both of them voted to have me removed. Oh, they were cutting up. I mean, what they were doing back then, voted to have Mays removed. They were doing a lot. Censured Councilman Pfeiffer, Councilwoman Winfrey Carter. They was cutting up, y'all. And so then we have now, they're not even talking. They've called each other some of the names that begin with the letter B. And I'm like, oh my, y'all doing that? They had actually fallen out. And so the young man has been showing up. He showed up to the Abdul thing. He showed up to that. And he sat on the side where Candace was and kind of like, I ain't gonna say like dared her, it's like, hey, I'm here. I'm attentive. Now, this was Candace's, and, Linda Dale, that was her homie. That was her bestie. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting, And so Candace is showing me the things. So last April to May, in the text messages, Liddell says, hey, this is my mentee. I'm his mentor. I want you to put him on the ethics board. And Candace was like, I'm not doing that. Well, and they go on for 4 or 5 pages. And Liddell, who was, Candace held her down. She did that. Candace held Liddell down with all that foolishness. And now Liddell is saying, according to Candace, she's supporting him. She put him in the race over her. And I'm like, oh my. And so he did come to the Abdul, and he was nice. And he, I've read and I've commented on his page. He's a single father. And the love he has for his son is beautiful to see. It is. It truly is. And I'm not going to deny that. And the fact that this was her best friend, saying go run. I don't think Candace was ready for that. And so they have kind of like turned on each other, which was, I was shocked. But he comes, he's engaged. I like seeing him in council chambers, and he's, he's willing to talk. He's very open about his life, and I can appreciate that. That he's open. But Candace was shocked. And I think, and she said Kane Simmons, that Liddell put Kane Simmons in the race against her, against Judy. I'm like, Liddell is stacking the. So I'm going to put up his website. I sent that to you. And so he showed up, and I've had a talk with him. How your friend do you like this? I like this young man. And so Candace and she'd be talking, Liddell threatened Judy. Because you watch how they moving. Liddell was supposed to vote for Candace for president. Liddell has decided to keep president for herself. So for those who asked, she didn't vote for her. And they brokered a deal. So we're 4-4-1. And I don't know if one of the 4 is going to break. It won't be Tonya Burns. Jerry Winfrey Carter said, I was not shocked at all. Can we put wait a minute, because he put the post. So he put it on his page, and I had to tell him, I'm like, you're going to get in trouble. Will it pull up his page? The post and not the video. I'm a screenshot. So I was shocked. I'm like, Liddell is cool. She like, I'm not playing about, so she's putting and stacking her people on I just sent you the first page. So he showed up too, and he brought his brother, and he had his son there. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, the politics is different. It can change overnight. And so he put up his page. So he put up, which I told him, thank you. Does it go bigger? You can take me off. So that's him with Dr. Abdul LC, which he had does it go bigger with wider or no? So that's him, and that's his brother. And he's there having a good time, cheesing it up, saying, hey, I'm moving around. I'm trying to win. And so he's there. And then he puts on his page, and I'm like, young man, I said, he puts on his page, I said, Liddell's going to get you. He puts, thank you, Councilwoman Tonya Burns, for bringing this event together. You're welcome. Daryl Brown. He says, I remember first meeting Abdul El Sayed in Detroit when I was just doing photography and videography. He at that time was running for governor. It's amazing to see now that he's running for U.S. Senate. And so he went on, and then he used etiquette. He's like, hey, I came. Let me thank her publicly. She did a public event. This young man knows etiquette. I appreciate that. Now, Liddell probably don't appreciate him thanking Councilwoman Tonya Burns, but this young man is saying, I'm going to work with whoever. I'm going to acknowledge, and he came to the event. So this, I mean, I'm watching how some of them are moving, and it's been interesting. It's been interesting. And so he's, and Candace showed me, I saw the text she's showing them. So Liddell has completely doing her own. And she said, and Liddell had little praying hands, please put them on the ethics board. And Kat's like, well, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not ready for that. And she didn't do it last April, May. And this is the part. Do not make enemies for other people when you got to cross that bridge again. They blew the bridge up and burned the ashes with how they treated people. They blew the bridge up and then burned the ashes. They cost me a ton of money, a ton, dealing with attorney fees, because they were wrong removing people. They're wrong. And now they're not. They caused havoc on the residents, threw them out, had them handcuffed, had people arrested, violated people's First Amendment rights, continuously weaponized the police against the residents. So the police were just kind of like, look, we tired of y'all. Look, Liddell and Candace calling the mayor, both of them calling the police chief. And he like, I'm tired of this. I got nothing to do with this. Look, they need to stop that. And it is a picture where the police was so tired of them calling. When Liddell is over in the corner, just they just like, okay, here she go again. She calling, nothing happened, because they began, after you learn, it was Villarreal and Metcalf. Metcalf just got to the point to where he said, I'm not doing this anymore. This is just not worth it. They don't know what they're doing. They're using the police, using us, and then the residents hate us because of them. And the residents absolutely did, because they were telling them to arrest them. And there was a lot of things. We had a brawl in council chambers. I mean, there was a lot that was going on in council chambers. And so it was embarrassing to have that. But it got to the point to where they were just like, this is crazy. They removed Villarreal and Metcalf, gave them different positions or appointments where, whatever it is they had to do. They removed from their post, and Liddell and Candace turned them in. I'm like, this is crazy. So the tables do turn, and how they're moving now, they aren't talking. And people are saying, oh, I think it's a joke. Well, I know that young man running for the 7th Ward against Candace, and she wanted him to be her person. And that's a hard take. Candace spent her time talking to Pfeiffer all the time. And I'm like, Candace, now you called him a slithering snake. You called him a snake. You called him all kind of names. You and Liddell had him boxed in. I didn't forget. We didn't forget about Rashad Ritchie's post that was made, talking about Dennis. I didn't forget about that. You backed Liddell up on her biggest mess. And it's not about that. I don't have to like you to sit next to you to take care of the business, but you did stuff to people to hurt people, and you didn't apologize. You weren't held accountable. The 5 things on the box were the 5 slips being put out. It's Candace's thing. It's what I'm told. When I asked, why are there 5 slips only put out? And that's limiting freedom of speech. Why are you worried about who's speaking? Let the people speak. That's what we're here for. Kawana Mack said they'll kiss and make up. They might, Kawana. But we know that Liddell loves power. She's infatuated with it. She loves it. Both of them do. Both of them love power. And when you love power, God say he a jealous God. You ain't supposed to love no deity more than me. You're not supposed to. But still and yet. So we got an interesting season coming up. And so it's a lot of people. I don't even know how many people are planning to run. I think in every ward I think 2nd Ward has got the most. I think they have the most. I think was it 7 people running in that ward, and I'm gonna send this to you, Jonathan. I think 7 people are running in that ward, and it's not over, so maybe even more. And so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So who is running in the first ward? I know that Dion Freeman is running. I had someone call me today and she asked, should she run? And I told her, you were out here vocal, you should run. Arthur Woodson is running and Carol McIntosh is running again too. So Carol McIntosh has 105 votes in between her and Leon. One of the issues were people told lies. Carol lives in the first ward. She's lived in the first ward her entire life since kindergarten, or was it pre-K? She lives, her street T-bones into her mother's street. So the lie that was being perpetuated and lied on, Carol lives in the first ward. She lives there, lived there her whole life. Graduated from Jackson State University, works for General Motors. And she, everybody that does something don't do it on video. I think she fed 25 people for Thanksgiving. And so when we talk about that, so those are I think Dion, Carol, Dion, Woodson. I think that's it. And then I just had someone call me today to see if she was running. And I don't know if she's going to, but I don't know. It's a lot. And so this, it's going to be interesting. Carol does live in the first ward. I had a conversation with a young lady today. She's always lived there and lived there right now in the first ward, properly in the first ward. And so I do want people to understand that part. I don't know if Liberty is running Kwana. I don't. I know she's got a beautiful new baby. So I don't know if she's running or not. So, but there's the lot. So second ward has got the most. I don't think there's anyone in 8th and 9th. And it's going to be interesting because people are going to be, you're going to get last minute people. AC Dumas took out some. I heard he took out some slips. That's interesting. So I'm gonna have to call Deacon Dumas. So, but listen, anybody has the right to run. They do, and that's the thing. And so, what we have to do, their focus has got to be for the people, because we have seen underneath the last 6 years, people's life did not get better, and people got them $1,000 checks. But I do want to show this. So this is the picture. Thank you for putting that up. Thank you for putting the picture up. And this is her calling the police with Metcalf and feeling real. They're like, look, she keep arresting the people. We have not forgotten, Liddell, that you continuously called the police on the people. It's the people's chamber. And Candace, you did too. You were her accomplice. You owe this community a great big apology. You played in that garbage with Liddell. Nobody forgot. And this is her calling the police on the police. This is, can you make that bigger and take me off? Thank you. This was Councilman Liddell Lewis calling the police, Chief Green, on the police. That's what she did. Yeah. I want to say, and we have not forgotten. I mean, I darn sure didn't forget. We gonna silence her, we gonna put her out, and just lied. They're just liars. And so it's gonna be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So Liddell calling the police on the police. So listen, I am going to be on Saturday because I'm not going to be on all night with y'all. And so I'm going back to my slot. And I'm going back to my Saturday slot. And so I want people, it's a lot. I needed a break. When you're in politics in Flint, it's like doing dog years. So for every year you do, it's like 7. Literally it is. It literally is. It is like doing it's like doing dog years, and you go through a lot. And if you care and if you're doing the work for the people, because there's so much we need to work on, so much we need to focus on. And don't y'all believe that little infomercial that Mayor Neely did about everything was great. I didn't make it through the state of address through his baby pictures, because I felt it was inappropriate. It's not about you. We don't need to see you being a baby. That's a narcissist move. We don't need to see you with your wrestling. This is not about self-admiration. It was inappropriate to show that, to have that. It's about the city. It's the city. It's the people. It's the people. I'm like, he got his photo album pictures up there. That was classless and tacky. It's not. Flint's got a lot of things going on, and your baby pictures or baby photo album was inappropriate in a presentation. It was inappropriate. What's even more inappropriate, he just had 2 women fighting in the mayor's suite, Tommy and Candace. That's inappropriate. That should never happen. I mean, if it comes to that point, and that's not the first time women have had disagreements in the mayor's suite. It's not the first time. Flint deserves better. I will be doing Tuesday, I believe, at thank you, Tonya Burns for mayor. Thank you. I will be doing a special, me and Mayor Karen Weaver, and we're going to talk about something. We're going to talk about some of the things, and how do we lead up to her with the water crisis? We're going to talk about that, and what was her role in it? What pivotal things did she do? And we're going to talk about when people saw when I made on my page that she was erased from history. Senator Slotkin didn't mention her. She mentioned President Obama, but there's a process, a chronological order. How do we get to the part when Mayor Weaver called the emergency? She was elected in November, December the 15th. She called for a state of an emergency, which then goes to the county, then it goes to the state, then it goes to the federal, to President Obama. And she served us well. And so we need to understand that she has served us well as our mayor. And let's include her in our history. Let's not, as a Black woman, we have seen and Black people, our history erased, inventions, our contributions to society. We weren't taught in the school textbooks. And we need to make sure we include them. We're going to talk about that, me and her. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. So that's going to be interesting. Look, I can't even keep up with the comments. Y'all talking about Maze. The other side, she gave props to Liddell when the first word, cannot trust her. How many kids she gave now? She needs to listen to. Okay, y'all in the comments. I can't keep it without it. Okay. So y'all on First Ward. So Carol McIntosh is running. I am supporting Carol McIntosh. Y'all know that. She ran a good campaign. She got out there. She did what she needed to do. And I am supporting her. I absolutely am supporting her. And I wish her, and I know she's going to work hard. She was robbed of that last one. It is coming to when people say about Leon. I turned into the city attorney, 2 city attorneys. I turned into the clerk and to Chief Green, that there to be an investigation because Leon is staying down the street from me, y'all. So on Tuesday night, he need to bring my big trash can in for me. I think he should have stepped down to take care of things in his life, actually. That he should have did. He's got a lot going on, which should have been a personal issue, but it was not once this child's mother called me. He needs to resolve those issues. And we need to be firm in saying that if you don't live where you live, then you should not be running or ran. And it was very clear on the papers, including his PPOs, because Lord, when he took out 10 of them, he used the Mount Morris address. He needs to get himself together. Burns, I've been waiting. Let's do this. Your mother will agree. Just my father. The time is now. Show me the money. Listen, I'm in prayer. I have been asked. I have looked at some things. I'm very realistic that you have to restaff Flint and you need to have a plan. I don't believe in anything without a plan. When I ran my election, there were 5 people in that race against me. Literally, when I ran for 6th ward, there were 5 people. I won the primary and I won the general. And then I had one person kept saying up until a year ago that they had still won. I stole votes. How am I steal votes with them y'all people? Stop. Thank you, Taya. Thank you. I could not, and I ain't into that. What I did do was at 8:00 that night, I was tired. I was cold. I ran my best race. And if it was meant for me to win, then it was meant for me to win. But I know Mayor Neely fought me. He was out campaigning against me. He pulled out every stop it could, and it did not work. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. It did not work. He had 5 people in the race, and it didn't work. And so these races are going to be interesting. So I'm giving them young folks. Y'all better talk about them $1,000 checks that you know. Hey, Mayor Neely didn't talk about that. Y'all might have to throw him under the bus a little bit because people are upset about that, as they should. You know, they should. JP says, I want you to audit Flint if you win. So audits are expensive. They are very expensive. That would absolutely be done, and a serious one. You know, there are some things, you know, and actually I did send an email to request for audit for that fire escrow fund, any and all contractors, any funds that have been spent, because that lady, her brother died in that house. He died. And that fire escrow fund, we don't even know how much money is in there. But that house should have been, if it wasn't torn down, it should have been boarded up, because the money she gave, the $24,096 was given to the city. And we should make sure we keep in our community safe. We need to have a comprehensive public safety plan. We need to make sure we're driving economic development here, not to Burton. Judy said in that last meeting, what she say, y'all? She says, well, Mr. Clack, you're right. Mr. Clack, we don't have economic development. They go to Burton. Judy, why? Judy, you're part of the problem. You keep co-signing on their nonsense. Part of the problem. And then you say, yes, well, Burton gets it all the time. Judy, why? When you go along with the mayor's agenda and Liddell's agenda, you were co-signing on that garbage. You didn't stay independent. My vote has always been my vote. And I would explain it. Everybody didn't like some of my votes, but I did what I felt was right, what was best for the city. And there's some issues. There's a lot of issues. So I want y'all to tune in for Saturday, 10:00. And we're gonna talk about some more stuff, because I'm telling y'all been getting, look, we've been getting sold out. And it's time that we stop it. Don't stop letting people divide us. No, people cannot like me, but my work should speak for itself. It should speak for itself. It should definitely speak for itself. You know, and I didn't just start. I literally, I'm going to send this because I had, and then we're going to look. I don't know what I be doing to these little pens. So the 10-year anniversary of the emergency, I'm going to send this to you. Now, I don't know why. And so I want you to pop this picture up for me. So this is the 10-year anniversary. And I really don't know. And when you get the picture, pop it up for me. Jonathan. JP6 says we're going to get to the bottom of it. Look, we're going to be having all kind of little conversations, getting to the bottom of things, y'all. We're going to be doing something. So Attorney Trishelle Young sent this to me on the 10-year on the Senate where they were talking about it when we got the furlough emergency. Y'all, I was doing a bit much with that sign 10 years ago. I'm just going to say that. So it was a protest in Lansing. That was my protest sign 10 years ago. And so thank you for sending that to me, Attorney Trishelle Young. We drove down. She drove with her kids that day down to Lansing. She was one of the original attorneys. I drove with my kids down, and we went there. We lapped them slow buses that Arthur Woodson had gotten. The buses might still be on their way to Lansing. And so that was my sign. I did do the most with the sign, y'all. I was like, I'm like, toxic water for Flint has left a crime scene, but it's true. Look, I made the little water with some cups. I did the do not enter, had yellow tape. That was my teaching days coming back. And then I strapped the Barbie down to the side. I strapped the Barbie on. So that was my protest sign. And it was so, the sound in the rotunda where people came together and just bammed on the rails, and it disrupted the session to say that Flint matters. It was such a bonding experience. And so when we talk about, were you there? Where were these people? If you're not engaged doing something, I wasn't running for nothing then. I was running for nothing. Had no idea, didn't want to, was not interested in it, and was not. And I'm like, nope, I took me, all three of my kids, we went. No, I think two of them went. But my youngest son would go to some other, we did many of the marches out in the cold. And I was paying my kids with Starlight. So they were getting fed Starlight. No more popcorn. And so I was like, when Trishelle sent me that, I'm like, I was doing the most with that sign. I'm a sign maker. I'm like, no, there was a crime scene, people dying. Look, everybody, you were angry because how dare you poison the city? How dare you? And you don't speak up. And it's so easy to, when we make a mistake, but let's work together to fix it. I want to fix my city. I want people to be a part of it. I want people to love where they live. Yes, my sign was a bit much, but they got the point. And I think then Gleason had put it on, actually, he put my kids in his campaign material. Didn't ask me, but he did it. But my sign was a bit much. That is a Barbie down, and she was, it was a bit much. So that was 10 years ago. So I didn't just start this. I want everybody to know. It has always been, I'm going to speak up. I'm going to continue to work for the people, no matter what I do. It doesn't have to even be if it's in politics, but I'm going to speak up. I'm not, God has not told me to be quiet and weighing it on my heart. I'm not going to ever be silent for the residents of Flint. I'm not going to do it. I cannot be bought out. I remember somebody said, oh, well, she took money, and I ain't took money from nobody. What they did was lied on me. Lied. And the lies are going to come. They lied. But that was my sign. I've been in this. That was 10 years ago last week. So I didn't just start this, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know. Just letting y'all know. And thank you, Attorney Trishelle Young, for sending that to me. But I was doing a bit much on that side. So anyways, I do want to say this. So if you can donate to $ JEatonMedia, we are going to be on this Saturday at 10 o'clock. And the sign was a bit much, y'all. Look, I need to be doing a sign make. So look, please call in Cash App or donate to JEatonMedia. And I want to say thank you to Patrick Jean and to Sheena Bechter, my moderators. I cannot do this without y'all. And so when we do this and we're serious about something, your girl is rested up. and we moving forward. So if you can kindly go to JEatonMedia, at $sign JEatonMedia, we would greatly appreciate it. I cannot do any of this without him. And Jonathan, you rock. I want y'all to something to change. Wait, if change or acquisition is created to challenge the $1,000 checks, provide information on how the money. Okay, so you have to comment about that. The money was dispersed with residents signed. I don't know, but that's a conversation we need to have. We need to have that. And to everyone who showed up for the Dr. Abdul El Said, thank y'all for showing up to saying, hey, we won't change. We won't change. That listening session, that people came and said, we won't change. We want effective change. That part I'm proud of. To see it warmed my heart. If it wasn't so cold, I might have cried because they would have froze stuff. So I want to say thank you to you. And Carl Lewis is now on here. Carl, where you been? What's up, Unc? Listen, Carl, we at the end now. And so listen, I want to say thank you to each and every person. Pray for our city. Pray for direction of the city. Pray for good leadership. It's time that someone comes with the plan for the people, because not the one that's lining their pockets. If somebody got to wear a Jesus hat, a Jesus necklace, a Jesus bracelet, I love Jesus t-shirt, then listen, they trying to convince you that they have the Jesus in them in the Holy Spirit, because you should see a person's spirituality before you open your mouth. When you see that, you should be able to feel the presence of Jesus in them and working in them. Watch out for these folks. I'm just telling y'all, watch out for them. And so I'm going to send love to each and every one of y'all. And look, and stay warm. If you know someone who is out there that is cold, listen, the Sheriff Swanson is allowing people to, the jail is going to be open in the lobby. You can also, if someone needs a bed, call me. I can see about getting you into one of the, Mr. Washington has been working so well with me at My Brother's Keeper. So you let me know. And then also City of Hope. And so we don't want anybody out there freezing to the Ladies Color Law Coalition and the one gentleman. Y'all rock, because y'all out there taking care of, feeding them, make sure they have hat, gloves. If they making sure they got what they need. And so I appreciate those wonderful ladies, because they out and they're passionate. Debbie, Diane, Tonya, Beverly. I think Beverly, you're supposed to be cooking chili. I heard. I got to call you, girlfriend. But anyways, Beverly Biggs is running for 3rd Ward. She's running for 3rd Ward. And she lives in the 3rd Ward. Trust, I've been to her house, okay? Been to her house. Beverly, was Beverly at my house yesterday and the day before? And Beverly lives in the 3rd Ward. Beverly Biggs for 3rd Ward. So anyways, listen. JP says, Burns and plus 26. Look, I want y'all to have a great night and sending y'all love. Let's put the intro music out. Enjoy yourself. I love y'all. I missed y'all. So let's hit the exit music.
It's the Tonya Burns Show. Tune in right now. Like and share. Our city needs that vibe. Flint City News got truth to share. When we fight the darkness, we repair. Won't give up, we're standing tall and proud. Voices rising strong, no longer shrouded. Residents deserve what's right and fair. Together we can lift the despair. We fight, we win, we break the chains. Tonya Burns won't stand out in the rain. Our city dreams will make them true. With every step